Welcome to the MLS Round Table Series, Part 2, sponsored by Target. And now we're going to talk about the academy system. I'm Calen Carr, pleased to be joined by Tab Ramos, Justen, Tyler Adams, and Luchi Gonzalez. Gentlemen, it's good to be with you. Let's talk a little bit about the academy system. I mean, we've seen now millions of dollars invested in the academies over the last 10 years. Their growth has been the biggest spur for all of youth soccer to really push forward, to develop for the men's national team, and then, of course, for MLS teams as well. Luchi, what is the academy system set up just very broadly for people with FC Dallas, and what is the vision for start to finish for a player to try and get to the first team?
Well, you know, soccer is a different sport when it comes to development than a lot of our other sports here in the U.S. in terms because high school and college are a big part of the pathway for college, for football, for basketball, and baseball. So I think from the beginning, culturally, we're not used to investing at such a young age in other sports, and that's where I think soccer is different. But to compete globally and to develop players that can make our senior national teams, can make our youth national teams, can make our MLS teams, and make an impact in the game at the professional level, you have to invest young. The earlier you start with these players, the better. And there's been a lot of investment now in better coaches, because if you have better coaches, you're going to develop better players. I think talent is at the core of everything. You need talent to start with, but you need to polish that talent. You need to give ingredients to that talent.
Tab, from the bigger picture perspective, looking at clubs like FC Dallas, trying to identify talent for the national team, how has that changed from the Federation's perspective over the last 10 years?
Yeah, so it's changed a lot. So first of all, I'm kind of the neutral party at the table, right? Because coming from the national team in U.S. soccer rather than MLS, but we came from an environment that was incredibly different, and I think a lot of people don't remember, and especially younger guys aren't used to what we were used to before. And I think that's something important to say, because if we just look back 15 years ago, most of our best players were training twice a week and playing 2-3 games on the weekend. So we've turned that around now, and I can't say enough about the commitment of the MLS teams and the MLS owners to invest in youth development, because it's not an easy one, and it's not one where you can have automatic answers. And in order for you to get your return on your investment, it requires a long period of time.
Justen, what's it been like for you coming through that system? Do you hear war stories from guys who are older about maybe the facilities not being as good? I know RSL has been a leader as far as investing in places like the new Harriman facility in Utah, but also even before that down in Arizona where you played.
Yeah, no, I had an amazing opportunity going to the RSL Academy in Casa Grande. You know, I went from, like you said, training twice a week on a dirt field in Tucson to a multi-million-dollar facility, training 4 or 5 times a week, game on the weekend under Freddie Juarez and Martin Vasquez. And even looking back, my brother, he's 6 years older than me, he had no idea that was a thing. I didn't even, when I moved to Tucson, I didn't even know RSL had an academy. And just to see the growth and to have that at my disposal clearly paid off.
Yeah, picking up on what he said, I think that within the structure of Red Bulls now, you could see the connection between the first team, the USL team, and the academy. And I think as that connection has gotten stronger, you see whether it's first team players going out and watching a U12 practice and working with them, and it puts it in their mind that they want to be professional soccer players even more, and that training on that grass field next to the turf field can one day be a big privilege for them.
There was always the perception that all the great players are growing up in areas where the fields are dirt and they need to be terrible, and the worse they are, the better you're going to be. And the fact is, I think the players flourish when you put them in a good environment. And I think that's where MLS is really succeeding at the roots, because they're putting all the players in a great environment.
I agree with that as well. And, but at the same time, you want to make sure that in that paradise, with good fields, good facilities, a locker room, it's important that the club uses those resources the right way. So Monday through Friday, it still needs to be really competitive. There still needs to be a lot of urgency and desperation. And I think it's really a great challenge for the clubs to be creative, to make environments very desperate and urgent, because that mental part is what we need to play with, so that they're never comfortable. Because I don't think you find success staying in your comfort zone. We need to find ways to challenge them, training with the pro guys, getting second team games, getting ready to be a first team player, and the club has that responsibility to play with those things so that they can one day be in these seats as young players playing first team games.
I think we've given a great picture of the academy system, the investment and the progress we've made in youth development, and a bit of the challenges that are still ahead of us, which is what we're going to dig into part 3 of our MLS Roundtable, sponsored by Target. Stay tuned for that. It's coming right up.